11 years ago, I was invited to church. And 11 years ago, I came to know who Jesus is. I was going through a very rough part in my life where I just wasn't having a lot of peace. And at church, I had peace. And it was ever since that day, I wanted to dedicate my whole life to what the church was about and what Christ was doing through the church. And one of those ways I realized more about what God was doing in my life and who He wanted me to be was through serving, through getting my hands dirty. Through doing whatever was needed to make the church happen. That meant running copies of our message, to making sure the room was clean, pencils and pens were all set and ready, to being on prayer teams, to doing greeters ministry. If you've been part of a church, you know what these things are. And this is why I'm coming to you, because the Internet Campus has done some amazing things, and we've grown quite a bit recently. We recently went from 24 services to 68 services. That literally was in a day. We launched 20 plus more services. That means we're looking for leaders. We're looking for people that are willing to step up and help with what's going on online. And the amazing thing is that just because you're not here locally within Southern California, that you can serve in our church. You can be part of what Saddleback is doing here locally and globally. And it doesn't matter where you are. You just need an internet connection, and you need to get what Saddleback is doing. And you can help us out. You can be a part of our team. You can serve on our ministry. Something that you would take here if you lived here in Southern California and you would come to one of our regional campuses is that you would take class 301. 301 talks about you were shaped to serve. And we have 101 through 401. Right now we don't offer those classes online. We're looking to adding them online in the future. But just real quick, 301 talks about how you were shaped to serve. And taking shape, we would look at this. The idea is that S is that you have spiritual gifts, that we all have inherent and spiritual gifts that God gives us when you become a believer in Jesus. And 1 Corinthians talks about this. Paul unpacks the different spiritual gifts. H stands for heart, meaning you have a passion, that your heart beats for something. A lot of times a good way to figure out what you're passionate about is what upsets you. Maybe you wake up in the middle of the night, or you just think about people that are starving in the world, and maybe you have a passion for poverty. A stands for abilities, is that we all have natural abilities. You know this, for anybody that went to high school, some people are just naturally better than you at other sports or other things, so they're just wired up to be good. Or maybe you are one of those people. If you can't tell by my wiry frame, I was not one of those people. But they also have to train really hard to get really great at it. But they have some kind of advantage initially. P stands for personality, is that some people are extroverts and some people are introverts, meaning some people like to be up front and some people like to be behind the scenes, and we need both to make the world go round. And lastly, experiences, is that God has brought you through certain things that only you know about. No matter, there's 7 billion people on the earth now. I just was reading that, I think this past week. The 7th billionth person was born. But the beauty is that we are all shaped different. And even if someone's experiences are similar, we experience them differently. I was just talking to someone recently, literally last night, and they were going through a tough thing within their family. And I gotta be honest, the only way I was able to even shed some light in the midst of that chaos that they're enduring right now, and I'm so bummed that they have to go through what they're going through, was because my parents divorced when I was young, and I was able to share some insight on how I handled it and some healthy ways to go through it, and some unhealthy ways to handle it. But that was only because what God has brought me through, that I was able to help others, that we go through things so that we can help others. So backing up, looking at your shape, how has God shaped you? Now see, God also talks about how we are going to serve in our shape and we're going to serve out of our shape. Meaning we're going to do things sometimes that primary, for the first thing is that we're shaped to do. So maybe for me it's I'm shaped to to minister to people through, different channels. But there's also going to be other times when God's going to ask me to pick up trash, or He's going to ask me to do this, or write this, or do this. And it might not be my primary shape, but we're going to serve in and out depending on the season of our life. So I say that because sometimes you're not always going to serve in your primary way. And unfortunately, on our internet campus, we don't have as many opportunities as for you to serve as you would here locally on one of our regional campuses, but we do have quite a bit. And one of those things that we're looking for, in the light that we have 68 services now, is that we're looking for leaders. We're looking for people that are willing to serve and step up. And if you're a leader, that means people are following you. A good thing to do to know if you're a leader is to kind of look behind you over your shoulder to see if anybody's with you. Thinking back in your life. It could be a short life, it could be a long life. We have young leaders, we have old leaders. We have people in between if that's where you want to be. But have people followed you? Do you command attention? Are you usually in charge? We're looking for you. Because our goal, our vision now, because of all the new services, is that we're going to people that are leaders of days for our moderating. Because we have people at each service. We want to be able to fill every slot. Every 68 services, we want one person present, caring for people, answering questions, building a community. And that means we need to build leaders over days. Because originally we had one leader over all 24 services. Now with 68 services, that's too much strain on one person. So we're going to go to having people over one day. So I need a leader over Monday. I need a leader over Tuesday. I need a leader over Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I can train you in the technology part. I'm really not even looking for people that even know how to moderate. If you've never moderated, that's okay. I'm looking for people that are leaders, that can build others up, that can provide ways to replicate yourself. That's who I'm looking for. And for people that understand what Saddleback's about. My team has been going through the book of Acts. We just finished Acts chapter 8. And something that you see early on in the history of the church is that it's amazing how fast it grew. Pastor Rick talked about, in the last couple of weeks, he talked about the idea that the fastest the church ever grew was when the church didn't have buildings. And it's amazing because the internet campus has no buildings. And I think that allows us to grow even further and for more people to come to know who Jesus is. So if you're a leader and you get what Saddleback's about, I want to talk to you. I want to have a conversation with you over the phone, over email. I want us to talk over Skype. I'm going to interview you because these roles are very important. So I'm looking for 7 leaders. Actually, I'm looking for 6 leaders. I have one already in my head. So if you're interested, I want you to send me an email at jayk@saddleback.com. That's jayk@saddleback.com. I want to thank you so much for taking the time and listening to me. If you get a second, send me an email, and I'm going to be waiting to hear from you. So hope you have a good rest of the day, and I'll talk to you later.